Okay, so we're up to Parish, I think we're up to Shlishi. So Parakla, no, we're up to Ravi. No, Shlishi, Paraklam Beis Pasaklam off. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a t-shirt, it's because there's a wonderful man who cleans our yeshiva. His name is Leon, and his nephew is the coach of the Kansas State basketball team. And he brought me back. He just visited him, and he was so excited, and he brought me back a shirt. And he's here now, and he's so proud. So I want to encourage him. Okay, so the verse states, chapter 32, verse 31, Vayikra Yaakov Shema Makom Peniel. Jacob called the place Peniel, basically the place where Jacob was fighting with his brethren. He called that place Peniel. Hold on. I gotta stop my what's it called from coming in? My texts. Let's put on do not disturb. Okay. So Jacob called the place where they were fighting the face of God. Because I saw God face to face and my soul was saved. Actually, in those of us who are doing Tanakh Yomi, also, so this phrase of seeing God face to face also appears in the book of Judges. Do you remember that, Ben? Yeah, and with the story of Gidon, which we did today. So it's full circle. We see Jacob and Gidon in our Tanakh Yomi class. And the verse states, now verse 32, Vayizracho Hashemesh, and the sun rose, Kasher Avaris Penuel, when Jacob passed Penuel, the sun rose for him, and he was wounded on his thigh. Rashi says, Vayizracho Hashemesh, the sun rose, Lashon B'nei Adam, this is the way people speak. Keshiganu Makom Ploni, when we arrived at this place, Heyer Lanu Ashachar, the morning became illuminated. That's the pshat, meaning to say that's just an expression. Midrash Agadah, the Midrash is Vayizracho L'tzarcho, that the Midrash is telling us that the sun rose specifically for Jacob, L'rapot et salato, to heal his wound. Kama detema, like it states, Shemesh tzedakah u'merapeh b'kanfeha, that a sun of charity heals with its wings, meaning to say that the sun has the power to heal. Vitamin D, it healed him by just staying in the sun. So how could you? So the sun had set earlier when Jacob was traveling to Haran. Remember, the sun set earlier. Those hours when he left Beersheba, Mira was Roch B'Shvilo. So now the sun was owed a few hours, daylight savings time. So that's what's going on here. Very nice, Rashi. And he was wounded in his foot when the sun rose, and the sun was healing him. And therefore, it seems, therefore, for this reason, Bnei Yisrael will not eat at Gida Nasha. This Gida Nasha, we call today the sciatic nerve, Asher al Kaf Yarach, which is on the ball of the thigh, Ada Yom Hazeh. To this day, Ki Naga B'Kaf Yarach Yaakov B'Gida Nasha, because the ball of the thigh was touched. So it's a good thing, like the other parts of Jacob were wounded. Imagine if the brisket part was wounded, or then we wouldn't have brisket. So yeah, it's bad enough we missed the sciatic nerve, but technically speaking, we could take out that nerve and eat the rest of the animal. So it's just a little small part. But here in America, it's almost never. I don't even think they don't do Nikor in America, removal of it. I don't know if anybody does it.
Tribal.
Yeah, but in Israel they do it, but in America, I don't know of any place that sells it. So, but I'm sure I'm wrong.
It's been done, I think, just to do like they wanted to do.
Yeah, of course they know how to do it, but it doesn't make sense to do it commercially because it's
very labor intensive.
Yeah, not cost effective. So therefore, what does the verse state? Verse 33, the Gida Nasha. Lama Nikra Shemo Gida Nasha. Why is it called the Gida Nasha? It was dislocated from its place or displaced from its place, and it moved upward. So nasheh is an expression of lashon kfitza. It's an expression of jumping. V'chein nishteh gvuratam, as it says, nashta, not nishteh, nashta gvuratam. Their strength has sprung away from the book of Jeremiah. Also, Joseph. Rashi is telling us something very deep here. Joseph is naming his son after this incident of the Gid Hanasha also. Joseph names his son Menashe because God has caused me to forget all my hardships. So Jacob is he's saying Gid Hanashe means, Rashi's telling us the jumping away. Jacob is trying to forget his past with this wound. Yeah, this sciatica that jumped away. It's very deep. We'd have to spend a lot of time thinking about that. I wouldn't be surprised if Ben, when you go home tonight, if you have the energy and the strength, look up. If you have the energy and the strength, you look up in your father's masterpiece. One of his masterpiece works on Joseph, and see what he does about the name. When he writes about Joseph naming his son Menashe, I think he's going to argue, be my guess, that he argues that Joseph was trying to forget his past. And it was like a statement, Nashani, but Rashi's connecting the two. Anyway, says the verse, Vayisa Yaakov, chapter 33, verse 1. Should note that the chapters don't reflect rabbinic tradition. The chapters were done by the Christian biblical scholars, and it was adopted in around the 15th century by the Jewish printers for ease. But so the Christians here make a new chapter, and which say chapter 33, we're adopting that approach. But the rabbinic literature does not have the rabbinic tradition does not have a new chapter here. It's just a continuation. Jacob lifts up his eyes. Vayar b'nei Esav bavi mo arba meos ish. Vayichatz hayeladim malev harachav al shtei hashvachot. He lifts up his eyes and he sees, and behold, Esav is coming with him, and there are 400 men. And he divides the children on Leah, Rachel, and the two maids. How does he put it? How does he do it? Now he puts the maids and their children first, puts them on the front lines. Not very nice, but somebody's got to be there. And Leah and her children in the rear guard. That's Rachel, that's Yosef. Excuse me. And Leah and her children after the maids, and Rachel and Yosef the final ones. Meaning to say, he was protecting Rachel and Joseph the most. Rashi says, Acharon chaviv. The most precious ones went last. And he passed in front of them. And he bowed down 7 times until he reached his brother. Where else do we see that somebody's bowing 7 times? Did we see that with Yael? I don't remember. So somebody bowed down 7 times. Rashi says, Amarim Yavo Oso Rasha Lilachem Yilachem B'Tchila. At the end, Yaakov goes first. He says, if that wicked one will come to fight, let him fight with me first. Let him fight with me first. 7 times until he reached his brother. Vayaretz Esav L'Kraso. Esav runs out to greet him. Vayechabkeyu. Esav embraces him. Vayipol tzavarav, he falls on his neck. Vayishakeyu, and he kissed him. Vayivku, and they cried. So ironically, it says he embraced him, he fell on his neck, he kissed him, and they cried. Rashi says, Nitgalgulu rachamav kisharau mishtachaveh kol ishtachavot halalu. Esav had in mind, according to Rashi, to do bad things. But when he saw Yaakov, his mercy tumbled forth. When he saw Jacob bowing down, All of these vows, his mercy tumbled forth. Vayishakeyu, and he kissed him. Nikudalav, there are dots above it. These are called the puncta extraordinaria. These are dots. Rashi is going to give a midrashic explanation about these dots. Some scholars argue that the dots were scribal notes or ways of that maybe there was a question about something to do with how you write the word. But Rashi cites the midrash, gives a different explanation. Yesh cholkim b'davar zeh, Rashi says they disagree. The brisa de sifri, in the brisa of the sifri, yesh darshu nekuda zu amar shelo nishakol b'chol libo. Some say that when some interpret the dots to mean, even though it says he kissed him, he didn't kiss him with his whole heart. Yeah, there's an asterisk on the kiss. There's an asterisk on the kiss. Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, halacha. So it says Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai uses this expression, halacha. It's halacha. Why does he have to say it's halacha? This is not halacha. This is midrash. We'll come back to that. Biyadua she'esav sones Yaakov. It's a halacha that Esav is known to hate Jacob. That moment, mercy welled up inside him, and he kissed him with all his heart. So there's a dispute whether or not he kissed him with all his heart or not. Rishon Bar Yochai says he did. The other approach says he didn't. Rishon Bar Yochai, who says he kissed him with all his heart, still says it's a halacha that Esav hates Jacob. Don't start acting like saying, get confused and say, no, Esav doesn't hate Jacob. Don't say, you know what, let's just give everybody a chance. Why can't we all get along? That's not what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says. He says it's a halacha. You can't challenge this. It's a matter of law that Esav hates Jacob. Ironically, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is the one. Why did Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai have to run to the cave? Why did he run away and live in a cave? Because he was sitting around and Shabbos Lamed Gimel Beis 33b, he was sitting around now with his chavru. So then one of them praised, I think it might have been Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai, I forget exactly. Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai praised the Romans. You can look it up. See if
Ben Yehuda.
What?
Papus Ben Yehuda praised
No.
them.
I think it was Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai. He praised the Romans. Go check it out.
Shimon Bar Yochai said the exact opposite. And
Wait.
And Rabbi Yossi.
Look at Shabbos 33b towards like halfway down the page. It says I think it was Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai said, look at the Romans, look how beautiful they are. They built such beautiful roads and bridges and markets. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, look it up. I think it was Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, everything they built for themselves. They built the markets for their prostitutes. They built the roads to tax us on them. So then he had to go running away. So he was no fan. And who are the Romans? The Romans are Esav. Esav is Edom. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was saying, don't think for a moment that Esav loves us. It's possible certain moments that Rome might kiss us, but don't get too excited. It's just a momentary thing. You might have momentary moments of miracles, but we don't trust them.
It says Rabbi Yehuda, you're right, but it doesn't say which Rabbi Yehuda.
Yeah, it's Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai. I think you'll see like the rest of the Talmud, the rest of that page, it makes it clear. Okay, so it says then, Vayisa Seinav, Esav lifts up his eyes. He lifts up his eyes.
Same expression.
What?
Same expression. Also, Yaakov based, I think.
Yeah, same one. Very nice. Vayaras Anashim. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. My friend needs a link. Oops. Okay. He lifts up his eyes. Vayisa Seinav. He lifts up his eyes. Vayaras Anashim. And he sees the women and the children. Esav sees the women and the children. Who are these people with you? Vayomar, and Yaakov said, Hayeladim asher chanana Elokim esavdecha. These are the children whom God has graciously given to your servant. Interesting. So he said, Mi elolach, who are these children? Mi elol. How are they yours? Meaning to say, he could have said, who are they? I guess he wanted, so the Sifsei Chacham says he wanted to know if they were slaves, which would have been tremendously wealthy, that Yaakov had so many slaves. He says, no, they are my children. Next verse says, Vatigashna Ashvachot, Heina Vialdehen, Vatishtachavena. And the Shvachot came close. The maids came close with their children and they bowed down. Vatigash Gam Leah Viladeh, and Leah came close with her children. Vayishtachavu, and they bowed down. Va'achar Nigash Yosef and Rachel Vayishtachavu, and then Joseph and Rachel came close and they bowed down. It's assumed might not be hot because they just poured it in a whole lot. You can put it in the microwave for 10 seconds. Okay, so he says, then Leah came close with her children and they bowed down, and then Joseph and Rachel came and he bowed down. Rashi says, by all the others, by the Shvachot and by Leah, it says that the mamas came first and then the children came. But when it came to Rachel, it says, Yosef Nigash Lefanea. Joseph went ahead of her. Amar, he said, Imi Yifas Toar. He said, Joseph went before his mother. He said, my mother is beautiful. Shema Yitla Ba'ena Vosarasha. I'm worried that wicked one will put his eyes on her. We're in chapter 33, verse 7. Amod Kinegda, I'm going to stand opposite her. I'll prevent him from looking at her. Mikan, and from this point we say Zacha Yosef Birkas Alayin. Because of this, Joseph merited that he became that he received the blessing of Alayin. What's the blessing of Alayin? That the Ayin Hara does not rest on Joseph because he protected his mother from being gazed at by Leah, which would have been a tremendous, something tremendously bad could have come as a result of this. Therefore, he merited for the blessing of Ali Ayin. Or else, why does he get such a unique blessing? And so Esav then says to Jacob in chapter 33, verse 8, Vayomer, he says, who is this whole camp that I met? Vayomer, and he said, he said, so basically saying, why did you send me all these gifts? And he said, I did it in order to find favor in the eyes of my master. Rashi says, who is this whole camp that of yours that I met? Why do you need to send me all these things? Pshuto Shamikra, that the simple meaning is Amalchei Machaneh, refers to the Amalchei Mincha. This refers to the tribute that he was sent. The Midrash and the Midrash tells us it means Kitot Shamalachem Paga. He met groups of angels. Shayu Dochfano so Ves Anashav. That the Rashi is telling us, the Midrash is telling us that Esav was meeting, as he was coming close to Jacob, he was meeting all these angels who were pushing him and his men, and they were saying, Shalmihem, who are you? And they would say to the angels, Shal Esav. And they would say, we belong to Esav. And then the angels would respond, Haku, hit them. They would say, leave them aside. He's the son of Isaac. They weren't paying attention. Then they say, Avram. They say, leave him alone. He's we're with Avram's grandson. They weren't listening until he said, he's Yaakov's brother. If that's the case, you're one of us. It's a very Fantastic, Rashi. Fantastic, Rashi. Yes, Jerry. I see you raising your hand patiently, Jerry.
Yes. Angels are God's messengers. What is God doing in sending a group of angels that the Torah and Rashi and everybody else indicates that Esav is a wicked man?
No, so I don't understand this midrash. That's the real truth. I'm not sure why what the message of it is, but there are these angels, according to the midrash, these angels were sent to basically impress upon Esav how great Yaakov was by divine intervention. It's a very, very it's not a simple midrash. We'd have to spend a lot of time trying to understand this Rashi. It's not simple. Why do we need a midrash? Then why were they attacking Esav's men? It's very
No, they're not attacking.
yes, they are. They were
No.
striking Esav's men. It says Shayudochfanoso Besanashav. They were striking Esav and his men, and they weren't protecting
Okay,
Esav.
but
They were.
but at the end of the paragraph, it says the angels say, you are one with us. Well, we're with you.
Yeah, right. So that's strange. That's what I'm saying. What's the point of all that? That they were striking, but once they said, "Oh, we're Yaakov's brother," then they had the protection of the angels. It's a very strange midrash. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
well,
Ben wants to say something. Yes, but I
yeah,
didn't mean to cut you off, Jerry.
but you have other sources that you quote. Can you perhaps later on tonight look up one of your other many sources and see
Yeah.
what they have to say about this?
Well, I'm waiting for Judah. He was going to get me this book called the Meforshe Rashi. We have to check that book, and then we'll see. But we're going to get it from Judah. Judah just sent us a defibrillator for the yeshiva, so we have a defibrillator. We should have it here any day now. Actually, it's coming down, but now we're on to the next project with him, the Meforshe Rashi book. Okay, Vayomer Esav Yeshli Rav, or maybe Rabbi Yosef can see in Safari. It is a very strange midrash. And Esav said, Yeshli Rav, I've got so much. Achi. And Esav said to him, Yeshli Rav, I don't, basically the literal explanation is, I have so much. I don't need all your gifts. My brother, Yilcha Shalach, let you keep what's yours. Parash, he says, Kan hodolo brachos. Now Esav was admitting to him, the blessings are yours. He says, I have enough. I don't need your brachos. Vayomer Yaakov, no. Yaakov says, please don't. You shall take my offering. Because he said, behold, I saw your face, and it was like seeing the face of a divine being, and you have appeased me. So Rashi says, Yaakov says, don't speak to me like that. Don't speak to me like that. Don't speak to me like that, because he says, if I find favor in your eyes, Rashi says, you shall take my offering. It's appropriate that you should accept my offering. Because I saw your face. And it's as appropriate to me, it's as beautiful to me as seeing the face of an angel. Because I saw your angel. And the angel, I guess, looked like Esav. And furthermore, because you consented to me to forgive my misconduct. What is that referring to?
Stealing
Why
the
did
blessings.
the what?
Stealing the blessings. He said that he
I don't know. It's
my conduct.
Rashi never elsewhere considers that to be a misconduct. That's what I'm bothered by. Why did Yaakov mention that he saw Esav's angel? He was trying to intimidate Esav. Esav would say, I saw these angels, and he saw the angels, and he was saved. From now on, I can't defeat him. So from now on, I can't defeat him. Okay, Jerry, yes.
The text says, Panei Elokim, and Rashi